It would appear the future of his marriage doesn't look as exciting. Eagle-eyed observers online noted his wife has already changed her Facebook profile, removing her married name. And just like his marriage, playing up at Coldplay and caught red-handed.
Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Lead singer Chris Martin was right the first time.
The aftermath hit before anyone understood what they'd witnessed. Hashtags exploded, memes circulated faster than the Coldplay encore, and within hours, the names Andy Byron and Kristen Cabot were all over social media. It all traced back to a single, fleeting moment. A kiss, cam shot at a Coldplay concert in Boston that should have been lighthearted fun, but became the catalyst for total collapse.
The CEO of a billion-dollar business is in damage control after his affair with a colleague was exposed, of all places, on Kiss Cam at a Coldplay concert. As Mark Santomartino reports, the internet has gone into overdrive.
In that instant, a CEO's marriage, a billion-dollar company, and two carefully crafted reputations began to unravel before 60,000 eyes and millions more online. And here's where it gets surreal. There were no emails leaked, no anonymous tip-offs, no boardroom betrayals, just a camera, a stadium, and an embrace that told the world everything it wasn't supposed to know. Andy Byron wasn't just another tech CEO. He was Silicon Valley's latest darling, hailed as a visionary who transformed astronomer from a modest startup into a billion-dollar juggernaut. Interviews framed him as a steel-cold strategist, a genius who turned complex data into gold. His HR director, Kristen Cabot, was equally celebrated, a respected executive praised for building positive company cultures and earning trust in high-pressure environments. Together, Byron and Cabot represented the modern, progressive face of leadership. But all it took was that kiss cam zoom to rip that image apart. What the crowd saw was more than just two colleagues sitting side by side.
Tino reports the internet has gone into overdrive, staggered by the pair's shameless and shameful behaviour.
Playing up at Coldplay and caught red.
They saw intimacy, a closeness that looked far too comfortable, a hug that felt more personal than professional, a split-second panic when they realized they'd been caught. As Chris Martin joked from the stage, "Oh, look at these two!" The audience laughed, but Byron and Cabot didn't. And wait until you hear this part. What started as an awkward viral video quickly spiraled into something much darker. Within minutes, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, and YouTube lit up with clips, slow-motion analyses, and meme after meme, dissecting every glance, every gesture. But while millions laughed, one woman wasn't laughing at all. Megan Carrion, Andy Byron's wife.
The kiss cam is really sort of a bad idea.
It depends on who you are.
Yeah, what you're up to.
It will reveal all, I think. It depends on what part of the story you're in on this. So Jumbotron's Kiss Cam's a big event.
Eagle-eyed users noticed how, almost immediately, Megan deleted Byron's surname from her social profiles, then disappeared from social media altogether. That kiss cam hadn't just captured an awkward moment. It had captured the public unraveling of a marriage, a career, and a brand meticulously built over years. The symbolism was too perfect, too devastating, and too viral to ignore. But here's the kicker. This was only the beginning. What looked like a PR headache for Byron was about to snowball into a full-blown corporate implosion. With Kristen Cabot right at the center of the storm, the internet moved faster than Byron's crisis team could even think. The first viral artifact of the scandal wasn't the kiss cam clip itself, but a screenshot of what appeared to be a heartfelt apology from Byron. Polished, poetic, and ending with Coldplay lyrics. It felt almost too perfect. And it was. The apology was fake, created by a satirical account on X, formerly Twitter, but that didn't stop it from going viral as proof that Byron had admitted everything.
After the video spread, Byron's wife deactivated her social media.
We feel for her. So
Yes.
The CEO, Andy Byron, just released a statement where he apologizes to his partner, his kids, and his company, but
Within hours, this fake apology shaped the narrative, turning what could have been brushed off as an awkward misunderstanding into a story of betrayal, deceit, and downfall. Truth didn't matter anymore. Perception ruled, and Byron's image took a massive hit before he even had a chance to respond. But the real shock comes next. Just as Byron's PR team should have been issuing a real statement, another apology surfaced, this one dripping with sarcasm. "I have no regrets. I just wish Coldplay would come back to making good music like before." Whether Byron wrote it or not was irrelevant. The public was convinced he did. The tone online shifted instantly from outrage to mockery. TikTok, X, Reddit, Every platform was flooded with jokes, remixes, and memes. Even major news outlets joined in, running headlines that framed the whole scandal as the funniest corporate disaster of the year.
Play, saying, quote, "I want to express how troubling it is that what should have been a private moment became public without my consent." You're in a public place, man.
For Andy Byron, once hailed as a visionary, this wasn't just a reputation crisis, it was an internet pile-on that showed no signs of slowing down. And there's a reason I'm telling you this. While the public was busy laughing, astronomers' former employees were mobilizing behind the scenes. Long-buried complaints resurfaced. Glassdoor reviews about a toxic workplace suddenly felt prophetic. One old review read, "Astronomer looks amazing on the outside, but inside it's built on fear and burnout." Another hinted vaguely at inappropriate closeness in senior management. And now that line felt like a smoking gun. Kristen Cabot, the woman responsible for HR, was supposed to be the company's moral compass. And here she was, tangled in a scandal with the very CEO she was meant to hold accountable. Social media loved the irony, and industry insiders pounced too. One viral LinkedIn post stated bluntly, "When your HR chief is part of the scandal, the whole company loses trust. Fast." But this was only the tip of the iceberg.
After the video spread, Byron's wife deactivated her social media.
We feel for her. So
Yes.
the CEO, Andy Byron, just released a statement where he apologizes to his partner, his kids, and his company. But he
Employees weren't just whispering anymore. They were posting screenshots, sharing private chat logs, and recounting their worst experiences under Byron's leadership. What began as one awkward camera moment was quickly snowballing into a company-wide reckoning, and neither Byron nor Cabot had issued a word. That silence? It only made things worse. As the internet laughed, mocked, and shared clips of Andy Byron ducking from the kiss cam, the deeper story was gaining momentum, and this is where things get really wild. Astronomers' employees weren't just trading gossip, they were turning those long-whispered suspicions into public accusations. Old Glassdoor reviews, once dismissed as sour grapes, were dug up and reinterpreted with fresh context. One chilling review from 2023 warned that astronomer looks great on the outside, but inside it's built on fear and burnout. Another vague comment about inappropriate closeness among senior management suddenly didn't feel so vague at all. These fragments began fitting together like puzzle pieces, painting a portrait of a workplace where image was everything and real accountability was nowhere to be found. And let's talk about Kristen Cabot.
Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Lead singer Chris Martin was right the first time. This was a secret affair.
She wasn't just a senior leader. She was head of HR, the person supposed to safeguard employee well-being, enforce workplace standards, and uphold the company's ethical line. But now, that same leader was the face of a very public scandal alongside her own CEO. The irony was impossible to ignore, and social media reveled in it. Will Kristen now lead an internal seminar on workplace misconduct with herself? One viral TikTok video joked. Industry experts piled on too. One LinkedIn consultant wrote bluntly, "When the head of HR is at the center of a scandal like this, the company doesn't just lose credibility, it loses trust. And trust in a billion-dollar tech firm is everything." Before I tell you the bombshell that followed, you need context. Byron and Cabot didn't just randomly end up next to each other at that Coldplay concert. VIP seating at shows like that is meticulously arranged. Some reports claimed they arrived separately, but others pointed out that their seats were unusually close, suspiciously close. Theories swirled online, fueled by TikTok body language experts who analyzed every frame of that fateful kiss cam video. Byron's bowed head, Kristen's hands covering her face, their awkward embrace, none of it looked casual. One viral analysis even declared, "That's not the reaction of people just surprised to be on camera. That's the panic of two people caught red-handed." The public wasn't just speculating anymore, it was dissecting. Here's where the story twists even further. As astronomers scrambled internally, competitors took advantage of the chaos. Rival startups posted subtle but pointed statements about ethical leadership and healthy workplace cultures. They didn't name Byron or astronomer directly. They didn't have to. Everyone knew exactly who they were talking about. Even Coldplay itself wasn't immune from backlash. Chris Martin's offhand kiss cam comment, "Oh, look at these two," was now being quoted in satirical merchandise and memes. What started as a fun concert tradition had become the symbol of an industry-wide conversation about power, ethics, and blurred lines between professional and personal relationships. And still, astronomers' official channels stayed eerily silent. No press statement, no leadership response, no apology, just locked social media accounts and a company homepage that hadn't been updated since the scandal broke. That silence was deafening, and it left the world hungry for the next big twist. By the fourth day, what had started as an awkward concert clip had morphed into a full-blown corporate disaster. Astronomers' once impressive facade was cracking wide open, and here's where things got even more intense. The board of directors couldn't stay silent forever. Insider leaks from astronomers' internal meetings began to appear online. Anonymous sources whispered that Byron's leadership was under serious review and that Kristen Cabot's future at the company was equally uncertain. But no official statements came, just leaks, speculation, and mounting pressure from competitors gleefully circling like vultures. Other startups in the tech world quietly posted vague statements about ethical leadership and clear boundaries without naming astronomer directly. They didn't need to. Everyone knew who they were referencing. And here's a detail that changes everything. While public debate raged, no one could explain why Byron and Cabot were seated together at that Coldplay concert in the first place. VIP seating is tightly controlled at those events, especially for high-profile figures. Reports conflicted. Some said they arrived separately, but were seated together by coincidence, while others insisted they'd come as a pair. But TikTok wasn't satisfied with speculation. Self-declared body language experts flooded the platform, dissecting every freeze frame of that kiss cam video. "Look at Byron's eyes," one viral clip said. "He's already panicking the second he realizes he's on camera." Another clip zoomed in on Kristen's body language, arguing that her reaction, covering her face and turning away, wasn't the response of a colleague caught off guard. It was, according to thousands of commenters, the reaction of someone who realized they'd just been exposed, and exposed in 4K. Before I tell you what the board did next, think about this. Even Coldplay's Chris Martin began to understand this was spiraling out of control before the concert even ended. Midway through the encore, as videos of the scandal racked up millions of views online, Martin nervously joked into the mic, "Oh my gosh, I hope we didn't do anything bad, but it looks like it's too late." That line instantly became another meme. The incident now had its own hashtag, had Coldplaygate. Google searches for astronomer CEO wife skyrocketed. Even Elon Musk joined the conversation, tweeting, "Live by the algorithm, die by the algorithm." And that single tweet racked up hundreds of thousands of likes. The phrase became the unofficial tagline of the scandal itself. But astronomer itself? Dead silent. No updates on their website, no posts on LinkedIn, no responses to press inquiries. Even Byron's LinkedIn profile was quietly deactivated, his photo and title gone. The silence felt less like damage control and more like panic. And while everyone joked about Coldplay's kiss cam being the most unexpected whistleblower of the year, insiders knew the real question wasn't about who hugged whom. The real question was, how much deeper did this go? What other secrets were waiting to come out? The scandal wasn't cooling down, it was just hitting its most dangerous point yet. The fallout was swift, but oddly quiet. 1 week after the Coldplay concert that turned into a public reckoning, a small blip appeared on an obscure tech blog. Sources claim Astronomers Board has accepted Andy Byron's resignation. No press conference, no formal statement from the company, no words from Byron himself. And Kristen Cabot? She vanished too. Her social media accounts locked, her name scrubbed from Astronomers' leadership page. There was no farewell email circulated internally, no goodbye LinkedIn post thanking the team. Just silence, as if both Byron and Cabot had been erased overnight. But while Astronomer went dark, the internet kept talking. Former employees began sharing their experiences openly now, painting a chilling picture of what life under Byron's leadership had been like. Stories about 19-hour days, impossible demands, and a culture where optics mattered more than people circulated freely. One former engineer even joked that the kiss cam scandal was the first honest moment in Byron's entire career. For Astronomers' clients and partners, the trust they once placed in the company evaporated almost instantly. Several quietly pulled out of pending contracts, citing the need to reassess corporate culture and values alignment. Competitors rushed to fill the void, seizing market share as Astronomer floundered in silence. And here's where things get really telling. Even though the scandal started with 2 individuals, it ignited a broader conversation about tech culture itself. HR professionals, business leaders, and industry analysts began questioning how common these blurred boundaries really were, and whether anyone was willing to call them out before it became too late. If the head of HR can't maintain ethical boundaries, one expert wrote on LinkedIn, how many other companies are skating on thin ice? The Coldplay concert had done more than expose an affair. It exposed a culture of complicity and the dangers of image-driven leadership. This detail becomes important later, because while the public obsession with Byron and Cabot's downfall eventually faded, the industry itself began shifting. Companies quietly updated their policies on workplace relationships. Employee town halls started including new language about power dynamics and trust. Some startups even scrapped their casual culture narratives entirely, realizing that optics had overtaken substance. The lesson was clear. One poorly managed moment, one unchecked relationship, one ethical blind spot, and years of brand building could be erased in a heartbeat. And yet, through it all, one figure stood apart from the memes, jokes, and debates: Meghan Carry-On. Byron's ex-wife never spoke publicly, never gave an interview, never issued a statement. But it was her quiet actions that resonated most. The removal of Byron's surname from her profile, the disappearance from public view, they became symbols of quiet strength. A viral tweet summed it up perfectly. No need for press conferences, no need for public tears, just delete, disappear, and walk away with dignity. So what does all this mean for the rest of us? In the digital age, no moment is private, no embrace is fleeting. When a brand, whether personal or corporate, is built on optics and image, all it takes is one poorly timed camera zoom for everything to collapse. And while most of us will never find ourselves on a stadium kiss cam in front of 60,000 people, the lesson stands. Ethics matter more than ever. Reputation is fragile, and sometimes it's the moments meant for laughter that reveal the darkest truths.